Another one I was thinking of was, dude, last year, the iconic image of the final last year is Kerrier crying. Like, everyone remembers that moment. Like, it's actually one of the harder ones. It's way worse than the old Jensen ones, if you remember. Like, he's actually, like, looked like he's emotionally distraught. Like, it's actually pretty sick that they didn't even change players, ran it back like Samsung did, and they won this year. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, what a great fucking turnaround that is. Like, if you make a documentary, that's even where you'd start, isn't it? Like, you'd start with them, like, failing last Worlds and then be like, think about that. Because that's the problem, is this was, like, one of the great, like, 30 for 30 fucking Worlds runs, wasn't it? Because it obviously begins with Faker being injured. The rumor is, like, they're going to break the whole team up. Like, every player literally has been called a choker except Faker, basically. And even then, it's like he doesn't step up in the big games. Like, the narrative spin around was fucking crazy on this one. I don't think there's ever been a turnaround like that ever in League of Legends. Think about where they were when they were losing to Brion, etc., and then they win Worlds a few months later. Like, there's no way.
This is done. Obviously, there could not have been a better sequence of events to burnish Faker's legacy than what has happened.
Oh, also, you know what? Here's the thing. Unlike other people, Monty, I'm not actually just a fucking salty cunt who can't give it up. I actually do give credit where credit's due. So you know what, T1 fans? You do win this one. I did think it was funny that you kept pumping the odds up, but then did sort of win Worlds. So you know what? You win that one. You get to win that one. Well done. You win that one. Okay. Fair play. That means you also won money on esports bet. So well done. Congrats.
Yep. Well, we did well. We did well.
You did. I didn't do that well. So I was betting it's one every time, didn't I? So whatever. It's all good. Got win them all money. This is why I'm good at CSGO, isn't it? So don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's almost as if you couldn't have crafted a better narrative around Faker this year and his return to world champion status from the injury, from his team doing so badly without him, which inadvertently showed how much his career arc has changed from the, god of the mid lane mechanical dominator to, macro team shot calling god that he is now. And then to come back and to win.
If you ever watch those videos, you know, the ones where you can see him press all the function keys on the whole time. If people don't know, Faker to this day plays like a jungler where, like, as his character's moving, he just looks at all the other lanes. Like, everyone used to say to LS back in the day, like, oh, it's not necessary. It's just like overkill to do that. You're just doing some StarCraft shit, right? The best shot caller probably ever in League of Legends seems to do that every game. Like, I think there's something to that, boys. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a bit crazy. Like, he seems to be pretty fucking good at knowing what's going on the map. Like that Jat thing you pointed out, like that actually was straight fire, the comm that he obviously made to his teammates. Like, it sounds like he really does just shot call the whole game.
Yeah, and he's constantly just looking around the map, like you say, with the F keys. And anybody who's watched his stream knows that it's a pretty disorienting experience if you're not used to doing that. It's not very pleasant to watch because you actually just can't process information as quickly as he can, because knowing what he's looking at, right? And having played, tens and tens of thousands of games of League of Legends.
The reason why, as a casual, you can't actually look at the screen, but it's actually hard to watch if they're streaming, like from ProView, like you say, is because he isn't actually looking at the whole screen. His eyes looking at the one thing he wants to look at, like a guy moving here on the jungle. But when the camera shifts, you don't know what he's going to look at, so he can instantly pick it up from peripheral vision. Whereas, like, you're looking like, what the fuck am I looking at now? Oh shit, I'm back. Like, and it is really disorientating. But that's why, though, you have to train yourself to play like that, because essentially, if you do it, it's why the Korean StarCraft pros were the best at it. Like, it is like the ultimate way to be. It's like, essentially, it's like a way to, like, hack your brain into multitasking when obviously you can't normally multitask. You actually do have to focus on each thing one by one, don't you? So I don't bring it up as a minor reason. Like I say, the guy who just won Worlds is like the greatest player ever, does this to this day. Like, I actually think it's crazy because I have seen some Western, I won't name names, I've seen some Western players to this day who move the camera with the mouse. The camera, bruh. They move like we're playing fucking Dungeon Master, Monty, on a 90s PC. Like, la, 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 la. They're like moving the cat. What are you doing? Faker's literally like watching 10 screens at once, like some fucking like data input hacking scene from the 90s. I'm in the mainframe. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's so ridiculous. Meanwhile, Meteos is like, shit, what's going on over at mid lane? Oh, fuck, my camp's up. I love League of Legends, bro. It's so stupid. And then we all sit there for real. We all sit like it's fucking like Charlie Rose or something, like some interview with some big boffins around the table, like, and how can the American talent grow and defeat these Koreans? And we're all sitting having some big powwow and brain. Whoa, what's going? Whoa, the brain drain. Oh, what's going on? Man, I think we need to invest in North American talent. Like, it's such a clown show, this game. We have to gaslight ourselves every world. I can't do it.
It's all right. There's all the players in LA are too busy out buying Balenciaga shoes to actually practice and learn how to use the F keys properly. It's fine. Well, it is funny though that we have to actually pretend.
Listing Balenciaga shoes for sale, not worn. We'll take nearest offer. You must live in Culver City or whatever. There you go. There's going to be a lot of ads like that on Craigslist now, Monty.
I do love how the fans though every time
used Golden Guardians jersey. You couldn't wash tears out of it or something like that. Rich mark like that.
Used to shine in Nero's head.
There you go.
I do think that it is so funny though that the fans get so concerned about, oh, how do we make NA more competitive every year? And it's like, have you just watch Faker stream, man? You tell me when you're watching a Western player stream when it looks like that, and then that's when we'll know. That's when we'll know.
Because the reason I bring it up, like, that's why I say I don't bring it up as a joke. Like, these are just minor things that we don't even do. So, like, forget the bigger things. We don't even do these, like, basic protocol things of what people do. So, like, that is, I don't think, like, this is a bigger topic. Like, it's not just that, like, we don't have enough players. Like, we don't even use the methods they use, guys. We don't even think about the game the same way they do,
I can tell you just straight up, from my time in coaching, obviously back in the day, one of the big things before we had a lot of timers that were actually built into the game itself is that you'll notice a lot of pro support players still play in windowed mode, right? They play it with a smaller, the game is smaller than the actual edges of the screen. And they would literally just keep Notepad open and they would copy paste timers in there and then spam they'd be basically shifting between the windowed mode of the game and Notepad and copying all of the timers in there. I've never seen a Western player do that ever.
No.
Ever. So they just, unfortunately, it's just a lack of dedication to the craft and like getting these kind of interesting, micro meta skills that take additional effort that these players seem to not be too terribly interested in doing.
I actually thought Rich's Wrath said it best on Twitter. Like, the actual real narrative of Worlds is cooler if you do it right. It isn't that Faker's like the simple of League of Legends and he just dominated every time. No, it's actually that he was that player 10 years ago and now he won as a macro god. Like, if you actually had to say, why did Faker win his 4th title? The actual real answer is because he probably has the best macro understanding of any League of Legends player ever. Like, that's cool. Like, because if people don't know, that is the one thing that wouldn't decay over time. In theory, you can build on that and get better and better at it. Because if you ever see not only the comms translated, like, dude, he's like the linchpin of everything they do. He's the one who seems to call everything, and they all look to him for like the direction, clearly. So, like, I think that's a cool angle that, like, the guy, like I say, it sucks if you look just at like skill, like, what the hell, where's Ruler's title? But if you said to someone, but Faker understands the game the best, then shouldn't he win? Isn't that kind of like satisfying in its own way?
I also think it's just remarkable for him as a player. Because how many players do you see that can revolutionize their skill set in that way? Because if you look at the start of his career, he was the guy who had the huge champion pool. Like, his strength was he would dominate you in lane in a matchup you'd never played before, and that he's debuting for the first time in a final. And how do you beat that guy? Because he has counters to everything that you're offering, and he's just going to mechanically outplay you, and he's going to outplay you with matchup knowledge. And then we get to the point in his career where he's really not capable of doing that anymore. And we get to a point where he's played 3 champions heading into a world finals. I guarantee you that's never happened for any player before, that they managed to make a world finals only having played 3 champions to get there. And yeah, we got to see a couple more in the finals because Weibo decided that was the ban strategy. I promise you, if they didn't decide that was the ban strategy, we would have just seen more Azir Orianna. That's what he would have picked. And you get there, and all of a sudden it is about the shot calling now, and it is about his ability to lay traps on the map and like get his teammates into the right position to drive the dagger in and to secure every objective. But there's no guarantee that the Faker that existed 10 years ago was going to turn into that macro guy. That is a very different skill set. That's a very different skill set. Now, the odds are that those people are two different people in any other esport. Like, the fact that this transformation occurred is definitely the weirdest and most hype part of Faker's career, I think, because he wasn't, it would be like, what, simple, just changing into the best IGL in the world suddenly, like, or over time, right? Just completely shifting the way he played the game into a skill set that he never had to have before. Right? Faker, like, Chovy isn't that guy. Think about Chovy, for example. Chovy needs Peanut to do the thinking for him, right? Chovy is not the guy who's making those shot calls. And
which, by the way, the jokes write themselves. So he has a peanut brain. Brilliant. Wonder why it doesn't work out every World's End. Brilliant. Yeah.
That's the thing is, like, let's talk about BeryL. Right? BeryL he's won 2 world titles.
He hasn't even won this world, right? What is he not this world? We're still talking about bloody BeryL. What the fuck, BeryL?
BeryL was in 3 world finals in a row and won 2 of them. Now, I hate the fact that that's a true statement, but it is. And BeryL doesn't have hands. Okay, so
BeryL is still the shadow goat of League of Legends, who should have won 3 titles in a row. And actually, because like I say, the best part about it is the fact that he's like the only player on the 2 different rosters. Because to a moron, that does make him sound like the secret goat, doesn't it? It's like it has to be him that's doing it all. I love it. I love how stupid that all that. Because essentially, BeryL being the shadow goat of League of Legends is the League of Legends lore equivalent of Jar Jar Binks being the actual Phantom Menace, super evil Sith Lord. Like, it's the same. It's the League of Legends equivalent of that narrative. So I'm going to keep it going as a real thing. I love it. I love that take. It's the shit. I love it.
It is wild to think that he should have won 3 worlds in a row.
It's mental, isn't it? I know. It's just so bad. What a world.
There is the new rumor too that BeryL is going to, if Delight goes to Hanwha, that BeryL is going to Gen G because they need to replace the shot caller.
It's going to be Pays and BeryL. Fucking hell. What's Pays done to deserve that? Come on. I know, that's so gross. He had an awesome year as well. He played really well. He gets BeryL. By the way, he goes from Delight, who's straight cracked as well, to BeryL as a support. Really? That seems cruel and unusual punishment.
It's too funny.
By the way, the other thing as well to me is, like, I actually think another angle that people missed as well is, dude, now think about how sick the Gumayusi story is. His brother is a StarCraft champion, and now he's the fucking League of Legends world champion. Like whoever their fucking mum is, I made the point on Twitter, like, she should be fucking famous, like the fucking Kelsey players, mother, fucking JJ Watt's mom, or whatever, the Manning brothers. Like, this mother's like some fucking esports, like, matriarch or something. She's actually killing the game. She's dominated 2 different esports games. That's pretty good. Not bad.
That's really, I mean, the legacy of that family is just really, really crazy.
The only thing is, though, it does fuck with me, though, how, like, Gumayusi seems super social compared to most Korean pros, whereas, like, Innovation was like Faker. He was just a blank fucking wall, wasn't he? Like, Gumayusi's actually got like a straight fire sense of humor as well, man. I vibe with him. I think he's pretty cool.
Yeah. Guys, if you don't know Innovation is definitely one of, if not the most singularly boring professional esports player of all time, which in esports says a lot, because there's a lot of really boring players, and Innovation might be the ultimate king of boring players. But Gumayusi has swagger, and he has a sense of humor, and he has much more of an aggressive edge to him, which is a lot more fun. So you wouldn't know from their personalities that they were related. Only from the absolute dominance of their gameplay.
I also still can't believe he played fucking Jin at this Worlds. That's so ridiculous, isn't it? They actually were that's the thing. Aside from Faker, the rest of them actually did sort of flex their champion pools and really show off what they were capable at the tournament. It was cool.
I think it just goes to show how well constructed the roster is, because they don't require versatility from Faker to have versatility as a team. And he can pick control mages 24/7, which have always been meta in every phase of League of Legends.
I've got the cursed question for you, Monty. Here's how we'll test. First of all, if you're a fan, one of those ones that's like, can't we just like enjoy the win? No, dickhead, this is a talk show. We don't wait and enjoy the win. We talk about the next thing, don't we? You have to keep talking. Spoiler, dead air is the end of the show. So here's the question I have for you. It's a cursed question, but I have to ask it. Here's how you can test what people actually think about this Worlds run, Monty. If it was up to you, do you run the exact lineup back? Do you just keep the exact 5-man lineup at T1 and try and run the whole thing back? Would you do it?
I think you do, because like I said, this lineup works, and it relieves a lot of pressure off of Faker in order to perform. I don't think and besides, they seem to have gotten over the mental hump which plagued them, and I think that's really important, because now that they've won Worlds, I think maybe they don't crumble in some of those other finals mentally in the way that they appeared to previously. So if you've gotten the yips out of you, I think you probably try and run it back if you're T1. I don't see why you wouldn't.
Because here's my problem. I know what you mean. Like, put it this way, just as they could actually have won all those other international finals and had like 2 Worlds and an MSI or 2, right? There is a world where they could have had that potential. At the same time, the question is, right, if you run it back now, what you trust in, Monty, is that this is like the Astralis Globe, and it's like you've got an overchoking and now you're just going to win everything. Okay, that's a good reason to stay with the lineup. The thing is, though, if there's going to be any issues ever again, then that's the problem with the team. Is like, it is a team that's like the strength of the pack is the wolf is in the pack, not the wolf, right? Because if we're going on individual players, like, look, I actually always thought Zeus was like a very skilled player. He's kind of shown me, like, that's legit. He was the MVP for me. Carrier, I mean, just the versatility alone is fucking bonkers. It's hard to remove. But I do think, at least for jungle and ADC, you have to at least consider it. If you think of some of the names that are out there, like, these are 2 positions where you could potentially you could make the team even better. Yeah, why not? By the way, here's the scenario. I know everyone's going to think of what they have now with Gumayusi. If I put Ruler next to Carrier with Faker with this team, do we not just like guarantee we win next year? I think our chances go up, surely. Like, he's a fucking cracked out player. That's my problem. Is like, it's not, there's no hate on Gumayusi. It's just there's better players. Like, if I had to take Ruler or Viper, there's a few different names I'd take over him.
He's a free agent.
Maybe even Deft. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
So I was playing with Carrier already. By the way, that is also an interesting detail. I saw someone post it on Twitter. Now Deft and Carrier separately did win Worlds. Isn't that ridiculous? They played together all those years. They actually did win, just separately.
Yeah, and you could definitely reunite Deft and Carrier as well. I think Gumayusi, though, was the best player overall on T1 this summer, which makes it a little bit harder to get rid of him, because in the earlier phases of his career, like last year, he was probably the easiest player to get rid of. But
yes,
when you hit kind of your lowest low this summer, he was actually the best performing player on the team, and he's been the most consistent player over the course of the year.
Do you really I'll just do it again. I'm only going to do it when it's really funny, because I'll do it. I'm going to take a Twitch comment and go mental on it again. So a guy goes, lol, Gumayusi got them to Worlds, right? Well, you know what, Monty? There's no player in the entire world they should recruit, because no player who doesn't play for T1 got them to Worlds. So logically, can't replace anyone in the team whatsoever. You know what, Monty? You won't believe this, but actually Faker's decided he's going to retire and Chauvy's available. But since Chovy didn't get to the Worlds, can't recruit him, sorry. So we're just going to have to bring Pobby in again. Bad, there we go. Pobby sit on the bench is what got them to Worlds. So problem solved. Thank you, Twitch chat, as usual. Literally not adding anything. Twitch chat is the definition of that famous quote that says, like, great men speak when they have something to say. Like fools speak to say something. Like, that should just be the text on Twitch chat, and then like, enter your foolishness here. Press send. You are now putting this into another human's brain. You are fucking hell. This is meant. It's like Chinese water torture, but collectively crowdsourced onto my mind. So Twitch chat's off. Anyway, don't worry about that. We're all good on that one. The point being, you could potentially upgrade and make it even better, couldn't you? Because I actually do think the other players you can't really replace. Like, they are too cracked out. Like, I think Zeus and Carrier, now that they win, they are potentially the best.
Really hard to, it's
players.
Really hard to figure out who you would replace those guys with, unless you got like Delight, right? But I think Zeus is probably the most difficult one to replace right now, because there isn't a good option for another Korean top laner that would be his equal in this scenario.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.